Welcome back to SAFC Live, where it's finished Cambridge United 1, Sunderland 2, Danny, and it was a really well-fought 3 points in the end.
It was, yeah, doing the ugly side of the game, as we said there. Sometimes you have to roll your sleeves up, dig in, put the work rate in, those loose balls, all the ugly side of the game. It's not all about free-flowing football, nice on the eye. And we've had to do that second half. I think the boys knew that going in at half-time. I think first half, we played some half-decent stuff. We tried to get it down and play a little bit and deserved to go in front. And then second half coming out, yes, the win was in our faces, and I think it picked up as well. They had a lot of corners, didn't they? Balls coming in under Hoffman's crossbar, and thankfully we managed to hold on. I could have nicked another goal or two on the counter-attack. I think Broadhead had that good chance. He was looking for that far corner. We'll have a look at these highlights in a second. But yeah, credit to the boys. Well done.
Yeah, let's roll the highlights, and you talk us through any of the action. And of course, Sunderland in the first half had the conditions on their side, but we always knew, and you said that actually during commentary as well, you're going to have to make these opportunities count.
We did, yeah, when they come along. Thankfully, it was a wonder strike, which has won us the 3 points at the end of the day. And I think Broadhead, when we get him on that ball, in and around that final third, he's bright and he's busy, and he can beat a defender. There's nothing worse for a defender. When someone's squaring you up, he can go either way. He's got quick feet, as I've said before. And it was a great performance from him individually. He worked well and deserved that winner. And there's the first goal there. Whether it's come back off the goalkeeper, I think Pritchard's obviously going to claim it. 2-2. Just keep an eye on it. I think the defender could have helped him out a little bit on that far post. He goes under the ball, comes off the post. Keeper's nowhere near it. Yeah, and it's come up. I think it's come off the back of the goalkeeper, hasn't it? But it's one of those where we'll take it, and it's good from us. You assess it, you look at the conditions and use them to your advantage, as they did in the second half, lumping balls underneath the crossbar. Thankfully, they didn't manage to score from it. We did. And there's their equaliser now, and it's disappointing, because they didn't offer a lot going forward, Cambridge. And they got him down that right-hand side. I think Smith was their brightest player in an attacking threat in that first half. It comes back to him there. And, we can't see from this angle, but he doesn't get a lot of power on it. And, you question Hoffman, he's a yard or two from his post. And whether it goes through somebody's legs or not, I'm not sure. You can see when he gets up off the deck, he's waving his arms around like he's maybe a little bit unsighted. But I think he'll be disappointed, and we're disappointed as a team really, because they haven't offered a lot going forward. But what I will say about the boys today, they reacted well. They got back on the front foot straight away. We didn't really work the goalkeeper enough throughout the first 45 minutes, but. Credit where it's due. We did manage to get ourselves back in front. Here's another one of those corners underneath there. The keeper flapping at it, managed to claw it away. And here's the goal now, which is won us the game. Good bit of build-up play down this right-hand side. A few players involved. Lyndon Goop just threads it into Broadhead. A little bit of movement from Winchester helps him out, because May gets sucked in, and he swivels on it, and on his weaker left foot. That's a hell of a finish, isn't it?
Just a bullet,
puts his laces through it, and no keeper saving that.
Watching the game, it was good patience, wasn't it, down the right-hand side?
Yeah, just looking for that opening. That's where I say, well, that's what we need to do more in games. When we're in front, I often think, watching us, do we get caught between, do we need to go and get that third goal straight away, or do we look after the ball? And I think we can look after the ball more, and then the opposition just takes one player to switch off, and then there's the opening, and that's what happened there. We were patient down the right-hand side. It comes into Lyndon Goose, he plays it into Broadhead's feet, and he gets a yard and he puts it away. And then after that, we had one or two other half chances there. Ross Stewart, similar area from which Broadhead was, but it's under his feet, and he's underneath it. It's over the crossbar. And just towards the end of that first half, they say Wes Hoolahan puts a quality ball in, doesn't he? A little bit of panic from Tom Flanagan, but he manages to get something on it, and it pops up for Hoffman. Start of the second half. Good little ball in from, I think it's Dan Neil, just reverses it. I'm not sure about that, whether the defender toes it away from him or not. But the referee thinks he has done, and he waves the penalty shout away. Opportunity for Cambridge, wide free kick. It's a good opportunity as well. Disappointing defending from us. How he steals in free. We're almost zonal there, but he shouldn't be stealing as easy as he does. And thankfully, he doesn't get much on the header. Another good chance there for Digby. The centre half drops down to him, catches it really well.
You've got to give Hoffman some credit, because he faced, some chances in the second half. He knew
Hoffman coming out at half-time. This is a good opportunity, by the way. It's Stewart on the pivot there. Defender gets in front. But yeah, from Hoffman's point of view, he's coming out knowing he's going to be under a lot of pressure in that second half, and he was. And he came and punched, and he came in and clawed at a few things second half, and he's managed to keep a clean sheet in that second half. So credit to him and the boys in front of him as well. We did have some opportunities like this in the second half where we didn't have a lot of ball in their half, but we managed to, to try and drive up the pitch on the counter attack, and just maybe didn't make as much of it as we could. I think this one comes back to Dan Neil. No, sorry, it's Broadhead. Comes back to him from Ross Stewart. Doesn't get the strike he's after. Certainly not the strike which he found in that first half. And there's another one we were thinking, as the keeper handball. No, but I think you can see there, he knows where his line is. He handles the first one, then drops it, and we thought, did he handball it? But he never.
And then the final opportunity, which Hoffman collects as well. Just give a shout there to Tom Flanagan.
Yeah, shout from him. It's good defending from Flanagan. Just bumps his man under the flight of the ball. And credit to the boys. They come under a lot of flack at midweek, and rightly so. I think, not seeing the game out, not managing the game well. Today they've done that. They've done that well though. They've got themselves in front at half time, as we did on Tuesday night. But the difference was, yes, they had a lot of play. They didn't really create a lot from open play though. Cambridge, credit to the boys there. Set plays came in, but credit to Hoffman. The boys in front of him have done well, and it's a good 3 points that. And it's one of those as well where we say, if at the end of the season, it's one you look back on, if we do manage to get promoted or we're there or thereabouts, that you look back at these type of results and think, that was the day, that was one of those days, tough weather conditions, coming off the back of it, a bad result in midweek, and the lads have stood up today.
Yeah, it's like you say as well, it's 7 points from the last 3. Looking back,
yes,
it doesn't feel as bad, does it?
No, I think if you looked at them in order, you'd probably took maybe a draw against Ipswich,
yeah.
and then 2 wins against these two. On paper, it hasn't worked out that way, but we've still got to those results. Now, I know fans might say, we should have beat Shrewsbury, but I don't think we deserve to beat Ipswich. I think a lot of fans would agree with that. I think a draw probably would have been a fair result. So it swings and roundabouts. And as you say, from 7 points now, we're sort of back on track. Performances have still got a lot of room for improvement. Of course, they have.
Well, on that, I've got the stats through from today's game. It was a 44% possession for Cambridge to Sunderland's 56. 9 shots for Cambridge to Sunderland's 11. 3 on target for Cambridge, 2 for Sunderland. 12 corners for Cambridge, 6 for Sunderland, and fouls are 6 each. So, we're shading it in some of the areas.
Well, we are, yeah. Big stat there is 2 shots on target for Sunderland, 2 goals.
Yep, absolutely.
So, if that's classed as a shot from Pritchard.
I think it is. It's one of a shot corner. Let's have a look at the scores from in and around EFL League One if we can, because it's been a very busy day. And some of the results may have gone Sunderland's way. AFC Wimbledon 2, Fleetwood 2, Bolton 2, Cheltenham 2, Burton 2, Doncaster Rovers 0, Gillingham 0, Portsmouth 1, Morecambe 0, MK Dons 4, Oxford 0, Rotherham 0, Plymouth Argyle 1, Wigan 2, Sheffield Wednesday 2, Wickham 2, Shrewsbury Town 1, Charlton 0, Lincoln City 0, Accrington 1, but they will still be playing because they kicked off 15 minutes late. Let's see what that does to EFL League One. Have Sunderland climbed a place? They have. They've climbed 1 place and move on to 35 points. Now, if I'm reading that correctly, if Sunderland were to win their game in hand, they would be level on points with Rotherham, Danny.
Yeah, they would, and we've done our job today, and I see 1 or 2 results have gone our way. Big result for Wigan, beating Plymouth. I think there's that 3 defeats for Plymouth on the bounce now, so they're slipping away, aren't they, after a good start. But yeah, Rotherham up there. Again, I think they drew, didn't they, today? So results have gone our way, but you've got to keep doing your own job, and it's got us right back amongst it in the pack there, with the games in hand, or game in hand on certainly 1 or 2 of the other teams around us. So from where we were a few weeks ago, where it was all doom and gloom, all of a sudden it looks a little bit rosier, doesn't it? And but the lads, they still know there's a long way to go. And as I said, their performances have still got a lot to go in terms of improving.
Yeah, Wigan as well scoring late again, as they did against today's opposition, Cambridge United, during the week. Let's have a look at your thoughts then as we play hashtag Ask Danny here on the post-game programme. First one is from Alan, who says, with transfer window open shortly, which position would you strengthen, Danny?
Well, the way it's going, we're going to have to strengthen in a few positions, aren't we? I think the amount of injuries we're picking up. But no, I think certainly if you look through the team, I think we're okay at centre-half. I think full-backs, when everyone's fit, we're okay. But it's how far off are those lads going to be? And then, of course, in January, it's what type of player are you looking at getting in? If lads haven't been playing at clubs, where are they in terms of their fitness? So I think, obviously, they'll be assessing where the likes of Huggins are at, Sirkin, Denver Hume. We need these boys back as soon as we can. And then it frees up the likes of your Winchesters, Luke O'Niens, Lyndon Gooch to get back to their preferred positions in midfield and out wide. Midfield as well, we might be looking at maybe a bit of presence in the middle of the park. I think if we can get someone in who who maybe breaks things up, who can carry a ball for us, who's a big, powerful figure in the middle of the park. And then possibly as well up at the top end of the pitch. Now, obviously, you've got Ross Stewart in there, you've got Broadhead, who's coming into it now alongside him with getting games under his belt. But if we do pick up an injury to one of those lads, we maybe are a little bit short. Yeah, you've got Will Harris, who's got some game time today on the pitch, but he's young in terms of experience in the first team. So it's going to be an interesting window, I think. So we maybe need one or two fresh faces to come in. But we've still got, we're looking at 4 weeks maybe, looking at where the injuries are at. You know, we've lost Aidan McGeady for a couple of months, so he's going to be missing out on the wing. You've got the talk of maybe Jack Diamond coming back from Harrogate. So it's going to be interesting, but I do think we need to get certainly 2, maybe 3 bodies into the building.
Let's have a look at the next one then, if we can, here on hashtag Ask Danny. It's from Richard. He says, do you think it makes sense to play Gooch as right back when Winchester is proven and we have more midfield options? Watching from Châtellerault in France. Well, hello, Richard. Thanks for tuning in from France. What do you make about the right back position? Bonjour, Richard.
Bonjour, Richard. No, I think from what he's saying there, but in terms of options in the middle of the park, Corey Evans obviously picked up his injury before the game, and I think Winchester was going to be playing at right back now. Corey Evans goes off injured in the warm-up. Lyndon Gooch comes on and he played at right back on Tuesday night as well, and he's done it in the past as well, Lyndon Gooch, and he is one of those who will get on with it whenever the manager asks him to play. He'll do a job for the team, and I thought he actually had a pretty decent game today.
It was odd in the first half in particular because he found so much space in front of him, because I don't think there was defined roles maybe, or maybe there was freedoms given to the likes of Diaku and Pritchard, wasn't there?
Just looking at the setup, and I was trying to figure what we were. We were almost a lopsided 4-4-2 really, and Diaku out on the left-hand side and Pritchard had gone right across there alongside him. So Lyndon Gooch had a lot of space in front of him, and we used it quite well. We worked the ball across the pitch, and then he had space in front of him, and he put 2 or 3 good balls in that first half. He was direct, got at his man, so I thought he'd done okay. In terms of options in the middle of the park now, if Corey Evans is out, Luke O'Nien's out, that leaves us with who? Dan Neil and Carl Winchester at the moment, if we're playing that 2-man midfield. If we play a 3, then obviously you've got an Embleton or a Pritchard, maybe to play in that advanced one in that midfield 3. So, no, I think Carl Winchester's been excellent at right back when he's been asked to play there throughout the season. He's been good, he's shown good energy getting forward, he's defended well. But looking at today's game, I'd be happy for maybe Lyndon Gooch to play in that. I know people question him in defensive 1v1 situations on Tuesday night, but I thought he'd done okay again today. That goes back to the previous question. We're short in numbers, so we're having to polyfill these positions as best as we can for now, and it's a headache for Lee Johnson and the coaching staff at this moment in time. You're looking, are the 23s lads good enough and up to the standard at this moment in time to come in and help out? You've got Ollie Younger, you've got Dyche playing in the 23s who can do a job at left back, but as it stands, he's going with the senior lads. And I think today, Callum Doyle had to go out and do a job at left back, but I think looking at it today, he went for the senior lads at the back, and it was needed in that second half, with Flanagan in there. Bailey Wright in alongside, they stood up to the task. Those balls were coming in, they were big and strong, and they cleared balls out of there. But I think going forward, I think for now, I'd be happy for Lyndon Gooch to play right back until Huggins or maybe one of the midfielders come up, and then Winchester can go back there as well.
Thanks, Richard, for your hashtag Ask Danny. Let's move on to another one then, please. This one is from Chris, who said, today's game was a good old-fashioned slobber knocker, and it was class to see everyone digging deep. Is that just what we needed to give the lads some belief that they can turn around our recent form? There was a lot of digging deep there, and you got to say in the second half they all fought for each other.
They had to as well, yeah. And we said it at half time, they've got to come up and be right up against it. And if you go back looking earlier in the season, I think we did well at Gillingham up against the direct team. That day we were up against it. Embleton got sent off, and I think it was 20 minutes or so where we were up against it, and balls came in, and we defended well that day. But then you look on the flip side, we've gone to Rotherham. We've gone to Sheffield Wednesday, and we've been poor at the back. Those balls coming in, and we were too weak. We weren't defending well, and there was a lot of panic there. Whereas today, they must have faced 8 or 9. I know you keep the corners. Must have been 8 or 9 corners second half, especially coming in from that far side with the in-swinger.
Yeah, they had pretty much 11 corners in the second half.
There you go, 11 corners in the second half. So, between Hoffman and the lads in front of him, Ross Stewart coming back, helping them out, they all had to dig deep. I think we could have secured the ball a little bit better once we did win it. There was a couple of opportunities to break with a little bit more quality, but we didn't. I know the lads are digging in, and that saps the energy a little bit when you haven't to. Now that goes back to me saying maybe we could have brought another couple of substitutions on to help freshen it up a little bit. 1 or 2 lads did look a little bit leggy as the game wore on. But no, credit to him, as he's mentioned there. The lads dug in. These are those ugly ones which you do look back on during the season. It's a thought. Do you remember that one down at Cambridge? Wind and rain driving at us, but we managed to hold on and we managed to dig in. And this will probably give the lads a little bit more confidence than the win against Ipswich last week, where we were a little bit fortunate, if we're honest, to pick up the 3 points. Whereas today, I think the first half performance warranted us picking up the points. I think we were better in that half. And then on the flip side of it, we've shown that we can dig in.
Thanks, Danny, and thanks, Chris. Let's move on to another one then. This one is from, I think that's Jack Reck. Who's your favourite player for Sunderland, Danny?
Threw me on the spot, hasn't he?
At the moment, I mean, did you have a man of the match today, maybe?
Man of the match, I think, looking through it, I think Lyndon Goop's done well. Again, has to be played out in an unfavoured position for him. He got on with it. I think the two centre-halves as well, Doyle there. So as a unit at the back, it's looking at those lads as well, isn't it? Which it was against Ipswich.
What about Broadhead for the goal of the season?
Broadhead, yeah,
so
it's that moment of magic in an ugly, scrappy game, isn't it? And it's that one little bit of magic in the 2-3 seconds. He picks the ball up, he turns on it, and he crashes a great strike with his weaker left foot into that top left-hand corner. So you could probably look at a man of the match moment. That's certainly it. And then we'll look at it back here now. There he is, just rolls his man, and then bang! What a finish that is.
It's absolute.
You know, was it 20 yards out? And no, as I said, then no goalkeepers getting near that. And that is those, when you're looking for those match-defining moments, those ones that take you 3 points back on the bus, that's certainly one of them.
Winchester played his part in that as well,
yeah,
didn't he?
And Winchester as well. Winchester and Dan Neil had good control in that first half in the middle of the pitch. I think Winchester, he done the ugly side of it. He was putting some good challenges in. Those loose balls which were dropping about, he was getting there first, and he was holding the ball up well for us. Dan Neil as well. You know, I enjoy watching Dan, and he's 19-year-old, and every time he picks the ball up in good areas.
He does that turn every time, doesn't he? And he comes off every time as well.
I said it there. It's almost a swivel, a 360-degree swivel. And
sometimes a 180 just to get out of a tight area.
Just rolls on
and
it.
he always finds grass in front of him as well.
He does, and the opposition, whether they're not looking at him, no one seems to be picking up on him. That he does it. I think the man's got him. He thinks, I've got him here. He's back to goal, and then all of a sudden he drops his hips and he's away, doesn't he? But he's a silky footballer, Dan, and I enjoy watching him. And I think when Dan Neil has a good game and he affects a game of football for us, then we either win the game or we draw the game. When he's in the game, Dan, he makes things happen for us. When he has a quiet period, we tend to have a quiet period as a team. So without singling anybody out as my favourite player, there's certainly lads in there who have stepped up and are producing. And I still think there's more to come from some other boys in the team as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, Danny, and thanks, Jacques Rec, I think is the name there. And this is the final one from Rob, who says, good result and superb performance from Broadhead. Hopefully, he gets a solid run. However, teams are aware of our weakness, and they pile lots of players on the line every time a cross comes into the box. It looks like sheer panic. How do we address this? Well, I think the weather had a lot to do with that today, but I think it's more of a broader question of how do you build the confidence in the defence and the goalkeeper?
Yeah, well, we'll look at the first one first. From Broadhead, yeah, hopefully he gets a run, and I think he will get a run. And Lee Johnson, it was unfortunate. At Cheltenham, he came into the team and he was excellent, wasn't he? We won 5-0 that night, and him and Ross Stewart linked up really well that evening, and then he picked up an injury towards the end of the game, so he was out for a while. Now he's come back into the team. I think he is bright, he's busy. I like to see him. As soon as he gets on the ball, was it the Papa John's when he scored, didn't he? Yeah, he scored a goal in the Papa John's game against Bradford. Great ball over the top. He's always busy, plays on the shoulder. Great first touch and a great finish that night. And we need to get the ball to him in and around the edge of our 18-yard box, as we've seen what can happen today. So hopefully he stays injury-free, and him and Ross can have a good run in the team together as a front two.
Second point.
And then the second one, teams are aware of our weakness. They pile players on the line. Every time a ball comes in, there's panic in there. Well, yeah, usually as a team, if a lot of balls coming in, you've been conceding a lot of goals from balls coming in, then you are a bit wary as a team. You know, there's a bit of a nervousness about you. There's a bit of panic, as he mentions there. And how do you come out of that? Days like today, days like Gillingham away, where, you know, then balls are coming in. They've got 3 or 4 big lads. They tend to chuck a centre half up now and then for set plays, obviously coming into your box. Like today, the wind's coming in at your goal. You need your keeper to come and help you out, and he did at times. He did flap at 1 or 2, and I think he can help out a little bit more. Hoffman, if I'm honest, but no, you've got to give credit to the boys back there. I thought Bailey Wright again was strong there. He won a lot of headers. Flanagan read situations well as well. You know, coming in there alongside him after missing out in midweek. So you only get confidence from these situations by having clean sheets and from being big and strong when the ball's coming into your box. We've seen the other side of it at Rotherham. and at Sheffield Wednesday, as I've mentioned, where very few attacks, balls coming into the box, and every time it was coming in that we were conceding goals. So they haven't had an opportunity to work on it as a unit because an international break, a lot of the defenders were away on internationals, weren't they?
Yeah.
So they didn't get the opportunity to work on it. But what you can do, more often than not, at the end of a session or during a session, the defensive unit will go away and work with balls coming in. You try and put it right. You know, picking up tight in the box. Don't let your man get a yard. Don't let him bully you, shoving you, getting a yard. You know, you've got to be big and strong within reason. Don't be silly, pulling at shirts and stuff. You do that tight side of the game well, tight to your man, and hopefully you're big enough and strong enough to clear balls. And as I said, second half, we've done that today. A little bit of panic in there, but that's natural when you've got 10 to 12 bodies on the goal line, let alone the 6-yard line, where balls are coming in. But what we can look back on is a good 3 points, hard-earned 3 points, and we look forward to go again on in midweek.
Yes, and that's where we'll leave things. We are back in action in midweek on Wednesday in the Papa John's Trophy. It's a 7 p.m. kickoff here at the Stadium of Light, where we're broadcasting from this afternoon. Still tickets available for that. And yes, we do take on Oldham Athletic in the Papa John's. Coverage will start from 6:30 here on SAFC Live. Just want to wish all the Sunderland supporters a safe journey home because of the conditions over here in the UK. And that's it for us in the studio tonight. Whatever you're doing this weekend, do take care. We'll see you soon.